Hello, and we say good evening to you this day of your time. It is our great pleasure to meet each and every one of you. So we first must begin by thanking you for allowing us the opportunity to create this new reality together with you. We speak on behalf of the Pleiadian Council. We are a extraterrestrial consciousness, in your words, from a star system quite a while away. Yet we connect with you telepathically, right here now in your heart. And we are many, and we are a part of even more extraterrestrial groups that are attempting or reaching your planet in a variety of ways as the energy on your planet continues to raise its frequency. There is a wondrous and challenging, for some of you, transformation occurring now. And we offer our assistance so that you can raise up to that higher level of connection, of the awareness of higher dimensions of reality, and the love that comes with ascending into a pure service to others based fifth dimensional community. So again, thank you for every time you allow us to expand in our connection to source through this interaction. We learn, we discover, and we serve. And the giving of this love, the giving of this frequency, allows us as well to feel a deeper connection to spirit, as you could say. Now, the channel is a telepathic converter for this frequency. We use his own subconscious, his own understanding to transmit an energy, and he receives information from us, and all of you can actually tune in to our world and our reality in the very same way if you would wish to. And we will elaborate on more of that with your questions. Today we would like to begin with the following idea that can help you in your process of growth. And we call this the 5 phases of knowing and unknowing. So many of you will say something in your language along the lines of, I know that I am capable of this, yet I can't do it. And there you contradict yourself. Because if you really knew something, you would never doubt it, you would never guess it. If you really knew something, it would be directly an experience that flows through you. So we want to help you a bit in being more clear in what is a mental concept that you are grasping, what is a belief system, what is an experience, what is a knowing, and then finally, when you know something, how do you go beyond? Because again, every idea that is known is a defined reality. It is a valid and important experience, though it is a singular experience of all that is through one particular outlet. And the process of reflection is what helps all that is expand. This is why there are so many individual perspectives that reflect upon each other to create a collective. And by looking beyond to see the very many different vantage points that allow you to perceive reality in a new way, you continuously expand your own perspective. So let us say these 5 phases of knowing and unknowing. The first is comprehension. Comprehension means that you grasp an idea, you can sort of chew on it. Comprehension is when you are first exposed to an idea and it expands your perspective a bit, though you haven't fully grasped it. And you may not fully grasp it because a part of you may believe something that contradicts that idea. So the second phase is belief. The second phase is ingraining in your own consciousness, in your own mind, that this idea is true. It is practicing thoughts that reaffirm that idea. It is noticing that if you waver from the idea that you would prefer to experience as your reality, that you can track yourself back. And in getting to belief, you must weed out negative beliefs, because you may be exposed to many ideas that you would like to integrate in your life, yet these ideas seem far-fetched, or they seem too good to be true, or they seem unrealistic because there's so much negativity in your world. Yet all of these ideas can become your own reality. So when you practice belief, part of it is diving into your own negative belief systems. It is trusting that you, as the light of your own spirit, have the power to transform what you may find when you go into the darkness. It is to not fear the darkness, because you will know, if you choose this experience of investigating your negative beliefs, that what you find in the deepest corners of your subconscious, in the darkness, is not true. It is not the ultimate truth. It is only a partial truth. And then it will give you the ability to choose a new belief that is opposite to that limiting constrictive belief. That will lead you to the third phase, which we call experience. When you truly believe something, it will directly be your experience. For example, you believe that the water is nice to swim in. You believe it is safe. And you go into the water, and it relaxes you, it soothes you. You feel more connected with yourself, with your emotions, because you have a nice belief about the water. A different person who believes that the water is poisonous and toxic, that it may get in their nose or cause a very challenging experience for them, will go into the water and have that experience. You may go out into a crowded city and believe that you will take in the negative energies of people around you. That will be your experience. Or you may believe that you will radiate a light, radiate a degree of connection to your source that you embody through knowing, and share that with the world around you. And that will be your experience. So whatever you believe, you will experience. And this step, this phase, you could say, is a bit more automatic than the others. All that you need to do is be aware of your experience. In every moment when you are experiencing something, be aware that the quality of the experience is occurring in that way because you believe something about yourself in relation to a bigger picture. And that will lead you to the fourth phase, which we call knowing. After repeated experience again and again, when you have practiced positive beliefs, when you have weeded out your negative ones, and you're having the experiences you prefer to have, you will start to know that the world occurs in a certain way. For example, you know that you can breathe, you know that air is all around you, and you know that the deeper you breathe, the more you change the quality of your experience. That is a knowing. You may know a lot of other things because you have experienced it again and again and again. Now, many of you will stop here at this fourth phase, though what you describe as ascension into higher dimensions requires a fifth phase, and this is the unknowing. The unknowing is to not deny the experiences and the knowings that you have access to, but it is to allow yourself to go beyond. It is to see and experience that this knowing I have is one perspective, whereas Source and all that is has unlimited perspectives. In order for me to change the way that I relate to all that is, I must open myself to even greater unknown experiences. And so in the stage of unknowing, you completely relinquish all that you once knew, and you imagine a blank slate, a tabula rasa, so to speak. And in this unknowing, you gain a greater connection to Source and all that is. In this unknowing, you allow yourself to go beyond the repeated, past, ingrained beliefs, ideas, experiences, knowings, into a field of love, almost. And this surrender allows you to, in a way, be more vulnerable in the face of Source, in the face of God, of all that is. And in this new experience of release, of questioning, you grow in the most exponential way. Now, unknowing does not need to know. Unknowing simply releases all expectations of what may or may not be, and allows and accepts. In this state, if you can practice coming into this state again and again, it is almost a gleeful anticipation of new frequencies of love embodying themselves through you. And you may find that again, if you can return to the state of unknowing, if you can release the grasping for defining or understanding a certain aspect of reality and simply embrace the unknown, that you will know everything you need to know precisely when you need to know it. If you can make friends with the unknown from the unmanifest, from the field of existence, you can begin to intuitively download and integrate in your system the ideas, the understandings, the knowing that you couldn't figure out from a third dimensional way. It is a higher degree of relating to the unseen dimensions that compose everything around you. And so these 5 phases of knowing and unknowing, if you come to see that every experience you are having has something to do with each one of these stages, you can begin to recognize, what stage am I in? How can I transcend and transform what may be negative about my ideas and come into a new degree of understanding of myself and my relation to all that is. We hope that this explanation allows you to go deeper into your own unfolding, allows you to come into deeper states of surrender, and allows you to grasp perhaps a bit how these higher degrees, these higher planes do work. Because it is when you accept and surrender to what is unknown that these frequencies, these energies begin to work with you intuitively. It is more of a emotional, telepathic understanding that begins to unfold as you access these higher degrees of reality. And so it is felt in your heart, it is felt in this emotional body. And when you can allow yourself to expand into that heart knowing, you can relate to the information held in all beings around you, seen and unseen, in more clear ways. So we thank you for allowing us to share with you this information today, this moment of your time. And we now ask you, in which way can we help you expand? Can we reflect with you so that you can experience greater knowing and unknowing in your own way? You may begin with any questions, any sharings, any ideas you have. We will be very happy to reflect with you.
I have a question.
Yes.
I'm curious to know your thoughts on what lesson there is for me to learn during my time here in PSAC.
Well, our question to you would be, what is your excitement here in PSAC? What are the opportunities and the experiences or the places or the people that bring your heart to expand the most?
Well, there's so much, and that's
yes.
that I'm excited about. And that's what is often hard for me to choose a direction or to know, what the greatest opportunity is for me.
Then we would say that the greatest thing that you could get from this experience is a deeper trust in your own ability to interpret frequency. So your heart is a barometer, and the degrees to which your heart feels passion, excitement, joy is always the greatest indication of whether or not the path you are going on is representative of your greatest good. So say, for example, you have 2 options. You are going to go and meet a certain person, or you are going to go and take a walk to a certain place, or you are going to sit at home and meditate, or yes, there are many options. And you take a moment and you imagine each of those realities playing like a movie while you hold your heart and you watch each movie and you clear what you would suppose to be your own expectations or assumptions, and you simply allow fantasy to play out. And you notice out of each and every one of those situations, which one brings me to feel the most movement in my heart, the most openness, the most passion. And the more you come to trust that and you make decisions based on that feeling you get when assessing your options, the more you will expand your synchronicity as well. Because the universe responds to the frequency you put out. When you put out a frequency of passion, people in that same vibration of passion, situations that represent that passion to you, will be magnetized to you effortlessly. And this is one thing you will learn quite a bit of with practice here.
Thank you.
Yes. Anything more you would like to add?
No.
Oh, all right. Our thanks to you. Any more of you have some question or sharing at this time?
Yeah.
Hello, yes.
So sometimes I need to work out how to say this.
There's no wrong way to say it.
So sometimes there are people who do not hold the light.
Yes.
And
Well, we wouldn't say that that statement is entirely true.
Mm-hmm.
For the light is everything.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is made of that light, though there are some who do not use the light in a balanced way.
Okay. Yeah, better way of stating. When there is a situation that you may be within a situation where people are using it in an imbalanced way.
Yes.
What would you say is the kind of best way to be able to hold your light, or like my light, hold it strong in an imbalanced situation?
Well, we'll explain this in a variety of ways. The first is the understanding that everything is the light, and everyone is an aspect of source. All is one at that highest level, that highest expression. And so you are source in every moment. You are the light in every moment. You may feel disconnected, yet that feeling is only representing where you have placed your focus. If you are feeling disconnected, it is because you have moved your focus away from that source, away from that light, and into some direction of doubt. And so the first thing to do is to redirect your focus. What represents source to you? What represents that purest connection? Now, each and every one of you will be different. For some people, simply meditating for a couple moments on the sound Om will redirect your focus in a way that allows you to feel and experience the light in any situation. For some people, it will be something very different. A person or an expression or an idea that brings them to feel their personal connection in a deeper way. So, with that understanding, integrating that will help you to, each and every moment, whatever energies around you may seem to interfere, you will know that you are source, you are light. And from that place, every situation is a bit different. Now, there are some situations when others are abusing power or attempting to manipulate or truly just serving themselves while taking from others, that the most important thing for one to do who does not want to experience that is to remove themselves completely. Break from the situation, cut ties, and say no thank you. In other situations in which you could potentially see that this other being could shift to a more loving, open, generous, connected perspective, you can simply speak your own truth about how that situation is making you feel, about what you are perceiving them to be attempting to do, and how you would like for the situation to change and transform. And simply holding your truth, holding your heart open, will often change that situation. Though you must first know that you are the light. And by remembering that and being authentic to yourself, you spread that light out to the world and others around you effortlessly. Can you play with that?
I can, thank you.
Yes, yes. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
Anything more we would add?
No, not for now.
All right, we thank you.
I have another question.
Yes, yes.
I'm curious if you can explain what it will feel like when all the people on Earth are in the, I think, fourth dimension, the love dimension, how
Yes.
we will be, what it will feel like to interact with one another, and what relationships will look like, and how we will connect,
Yes, yes.
relate.
We understand what you are saying, but first, just to clarify on the wording of things, you already are in the fourth dimension. The fourth dimension is a dimension of time. In fact, you are having an experience of all of the dimensions always, because the soul energy that you are exists throughout all the dimensions. So you are not moving into or out of anywhere. You are simply becoming aware of the parts of you that have always existed within those higher dimensions. And indeed, that quality of love that brings connection and allows you to experience that all is one is an energy that is waking up through your planet now. And indeed, by the time that all of you have awakened to that energy, there will be a variety of different things that have occurred on your planet at that time. In general, how it feels to be existing in that sort of a dimension and that sort of a quality of energy is one of infinite love, is one of diminished sense of self. You may still have an individual body, though you will allow yourself to go beyond the confines of that. Your senses will have expanded quite powerfully, and so you will be more deeply moved by music, by sense, by nature. It will feel as if you are one with it because you are part of it, and you will be in a deep sort of reverence with it at all times. You will have an instantaneous knowing of all that is going through another individual's consciousness, and you will be able to begin to speak without words at those moments when you are truly in those, are accessing those higher dimensions clearly. There will be an overwhelming bliss, though it will stop being so whelming once you have accessed it for prolonged periods of time. It will simply be a natural bliss that understands that all is safe, all is connected, that you never go anywhere because it is all here, that you and who you truly are can never be harmed. And in this state, this awareness, this knowing, becomes a direct embodiment within each individual. And so all of the problems, yes, will seem as if they have gone away, though then you will continue a new phase of discovering other limitations that we cannot really speak too much upon at this time, because you will only become aware of them once you have transcended your current limitations and come into this flowing, accepting state of knowing all is one and connected. Now, on your planet, in evolving into that state, there will be many degrees of intervention. First of all, it is important to become aware that there are many different parallel realities splitting off from your planet. Now, on your planet, there's evidence of both positive future realities and negative future realities. And those beings who are choosing that paradigm of separation and fear will split off into their own version of reality. They will be so focused on separation that they will separate from your timeline and your reality. Though for some years they will still be here. The evidence of that alternate reality will be apparent. And in the times to come, many of those individuals will have, or groups of individuals really, will have more drama, more war, more chaos, whereas those of you focused on the positive, integrative, connective energy that will bring about this new earth will have more peaceful experiences, will release, yes, many negative emotions and belief systems in the process, though it will be an internal release for the most part, as much of the work that you have done through conflict outside will be able to be faced inside with greater ease. You will have more mystical experiences, and with time, many of you will start to meet beings like ourselves who will be arriving and landing on your planet. And there will indeed be many hybrid children and many others who have already begun to live among you by the time that all of your planet can fully immerse themselves in this awareness of the fifth dimension, as you say. Does that sound exciting?
It does. Can't wait.
And this ties back into what we discussed earlier, because the more you listen to your own flow of what is the most exciting, most passionate thing you can do in every moment, the more you will be aligned with that frequency. In that time and space on your planet, everything will be organized by synchronicity, because every individual will be fully committed to honoring what their passion, what their desire, what their preference is. And they will, through that magnetic influence, attract themselves to others who share the same excitement. And everyone will be in that wondrous flowing state continuously. So practice now.
One other quick question. So
Yes.
it sounds like we're going to be accessing our feelings more.
Yes.
Does that mean that we use our brain less, or how does our...
No, it means
the
your brain,
purpose of our
you
brain?
use your brain much more.
How so?
Well, your brain is a very emotional center as well. And it is simply you have been focusing much of your awareness into the logical or survival aspects of the brain. So what will happen more is that your brain hemispheres will naturally connect, and the energy that has been going to areas such as the, one moment, we're looking for the word in your vocabulary, areas such as the medulla oblongata, so on and so forth, the frontal lobe. Yes, these are important centers. It's important to develop them. The more of the energy can come into the center of your brain, into the pineal and pituitary glands, as you practice, again, listening to your own heart's excitement. Your heart and your brain are intimately interwoven. And so as you honor your heart more, your heart will relax. It will start to produce different compounds, different, chemicals, and so on and so forth, that then influence your brain in a different way. So by keeping yourself in a sustained state of passion, your heart expands and you produce all sorts of anti-inflammatory and good feeling compounds that then entrain your brain to be in a similar frequency, and more of the energy will go to those central parts of your brain that convert those different compounds and chemicals into things such as DMT. So DMT, as you are exploring with the plants around you now, is truly the compound of connection with spirit. You are always on small amounts of it flowing through you at all times, and the more that your heart is the guide, your brain will start to produce larger amounts of this simply through being in a state of authentic flowing expression. Eventually, DMT will be flowing through your body naturally, continuously, in much larger amounts than it currently does. Yes, our thanks to you as well.
So following on from what you just said to do with the DMT,
Yes.
do you, are there, I don't know if you're going to be able to answer this, but there are, there's an awareness that things like mushrooms don't come from this world.
Yes.
But they also have psilocybin, DMT aspects to them, and other plants are also here that are helping people connect.
Yes.
So do you have any idea of if there are more plants and things that come from somewhere else?
Oh, yes.
And how they can help in our kind of inner transformations?
You were asking if there are plants that you do not yet know about?
Yeah.
Well, most of the medicine plants that are already on your planet have been discovered. There are a couple that will start to become more known in the years to come, and upon open contact and the hybrids integrating with your planet, they will bring with them a couple of new plants as well. One of such is similar to what you call Salvia divinorum. It will be a much higher frequency, different plant in that same family that works at a much more expansive level. And this will be a common plant in the next hundreds of years to come on your planet.
And how will that help?
It will help in the initiation of many into peering into parallel realities. Already you can do this with many of the plants that you have access to. Though this one is in a way more precise, it will open up parallel realities as a perceptual doorway in which you can experience and gain much information, and it will help many of those who are on this more shamanic path in the times to come gain greater depths of information. Though you can already experience degrees of this with the plants that you do know today. By the time you need them, they will be here.
And just another quick question.
Yes.
I have not experienced this, but I know people who have experienced ayahuasca taking them to alien places.
Oh, yes.
A lot of it has not been positive experiences.
All right.
Is there a reason that people go to potentially negative alien places?
Yes.
And do you know about them, and are they will there be some kind of feedback loop of them channeling into this world?
At this point, the parallel reality that your Earth is headed towards is one of integration with positive extraterrestrial forces. And so there will be no sort of cataclysmic extraterrestrial activity taking place. There are other timelines of Earth that do begin to interweave with more of those negative extraterrestrial forces, though that need not be your concern if you continue doing what you are doing. Now, when it comes to interference in those more shamanic experiences from those negative extraterrestrial realms, it is important to understand that these beings feed upon fear. So any being that is in any realm, extraterrestrial, or in a more interdimensional astral realm, through which the extraterrestrials do communicate, though they have some degree of physicality for the most part. There are other negative entities that do not have that physicality. They are always magnetized to somebody's fear, and they play with that fear to pinpoint exactly how they can ensnare them, entrap them, or put more energy towards their negative belief systems. Now, should this be your or another person's experience, it is helpful to know that any such being can only be attracted to one's own inner negativity. And so by clearing out those negative belief systems, no such interference can occur. By connecting to beings like ourselves, or angels, or positive nature spirits, and so on and so forth, and strengthening your relationship to those realms, you will be able to meet any such negativity or demons without flinching. And when you send love to these beings, they will often either disappear, run away, or they will shift, become more positively oriented. Because again, one of the laws of this universe is that what you put out comes back. And when you are putting out a vibration of fear, you must attract that in return. Sometimes, any such of these beings are neutral beings, meaning they have no agenda other than to be the reflection of what another individual is putting out. So if you put out love to them, they will return that love to you, or they will go away if they are truly not beings of that degree of connection. Now, it is also important to note that yes, they feed upon fear, and fear is an energy that separates. They are in a deep state of fear themselves if they are attacking or interfering in any such way. The fear is based on a perception that one individual is separate from the whole, and that being separate and alone, they must take energy from others. This perspective feeds the ego. It makes them sort of committed to fending for themselves at the expense of others. Though the perspective that all is one, and that there's an infinite amount of energy to be channeled and to be used to create a reality that is representative of being fulfilled, will bring those beings to either take a step back or to learn to become more like that. Once you are in contact with the aspect of spirit that is an infinite source of light and love energy, and you allow that energy to flow through your channel and go towards any such negative beings, you will no longer be attracting negative beings, except through the guise of helping them and helping other individuals who struggle with them. Can you play with that?
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Oh, good, good. We are very pleased.
Do you have any thoughts on ketamine as a healing
Yes.
thing?
That can be a permission slip to access those multidimensional states of consciousness, though what is important when working with any such permission slip is to be aware that you can go to that same plane, that same state of awareness, without using any such substance. And so, taking the moment while you're under the influence to take little notes, jot little things down, become aware of the certain qualities and aspects of that experience that you can use to bring yourself back to that same awareness without the substance. You will train yourself to be in a multidimensional awareness of all that is at all times. And this is where you are all going. So this ketamine substance is one to be a bit aware of, as using too much can indeed damage your brain, though here and there it can be a powerful substance as long as you do not use it as a crutch and choose to use it to expand where you are capable of going with your consciousness.
What do you think is what's the best setting to use it?
We would say quite probably with individuals who share the same intention to expand in that way, somewhere where you do not have to focus on physical issues and can truly relax into the safety of a good home. Diminishing the lights, turning them off, or putting on dim lights will help you quite as well.
And what would you say are the biggest lessons that ketamine can teach you versus other substances or plant medicines? Is there something unique to it?
Yes, in the sense that it is taking the consciousness often to that awareness of simultaneity. Now, many other substances and plants do this as well, though the ketamine can have the ability, when you focus right, to break down the awareness of the linear stream of time and show you that there's only one moment.
Thank you.
Our thanks to you as well, yes.
So I'm also interested in where Changa takes your consciousness.
It is dependent on the amount. So you can imagine that there are many different planes connected to every different amount that is taken in. And of course, the specific amount to get to that specific plane varies from person to person, from moment to moment. And we would say that the first threshold is one of a blurring. It sort of allows you to perceive the subtle realms of energy that are beyond and behind everything that surrounds you. If you take it up another couple of notches, you go again into that awareness of the soul as source. And so it brings you into the experience of your own soul. You can begin to interact with other aspects of your oversoul that may express themselves in different bodies and different realms. And you can even go with this substance to a state of complete non-duality, which is awareness of soul as source. Source is beyond that which source has created. And so you can come to perceive the emptiness, the seeming non-existence, though of course it exists. It is simply empty. It is simply without qualities. It is endless. And it has no beginning or end. Yet it is also that same awareness, that same space, or spacelessness, that brings into form all other dimensions. So with enough of this DMT or Changa, you do come to that level of awareness. And in between that level and the awareness of your soul and the awareness of those subtle realms, there are many different planes that it can take you to. And you can dial in the specifics of this with your intention and with how you represent that intention in your actions and in the different energies you attract and invoke when using any such medicine. Can you play with that? Oh, all right, very good, very exciting, yes. We have not heard from this side of the room.
I have a question.
Oh, all right.
How can one best contribute to ending sexual violence on this earth at this time?
By living their own highest excitement and passion. Because when somebody is truly authentic in their heart and doing what they love the most, we can guarantee that that does not involve sacrificing themselves in their own personal interests. So if it is of your desire to speak about your experience and to inform others, and that comes from a place of true passion, that is a very perfect contribution to that as well. And every individual contributes in their own way by being authentic and true to their own heart. Do you understand?
Yes.
All right.
I'm just confused I don't feel it is my passion.
It is not your passion.
I feel I'm pulled into it because I'm good at it, but it's not because I really want to be doing that.
So you do not feel passion when you are speaking about it.
Yes, I do.
Then why do you not believe that it is your passion? Because your passion has to be something more romantic?
No.
Okay.
Less romantic.
Less romantic. Though you do understand that there are many degrees of your passion and they bleed through together.
Yeah.
For example, you are very passionate about hiking a mountain, and you are also very passionate about being a public speaker. You are also very passionate about knitting some socks. You are also very passionate about having a wonderful lover. And when you, in each and every moment, do what is the most exciting out of all the things you are passionate about, not make them better or worse than another, the energy of passion that comes from choosing the one that is specific to that moment then expands into every next moment and next moment, because ultimately there's only one moment. And when you are choosing what is most representative of passion in that one moment, all moments hold that same vibration.
But
when
you
yes,
choose this in this moment, and then the next moment you want something else, but
yes,
you get pulled back by others.
You get pulled back by others.
Yeah, into doing what you were passionate about, last month or last year.
Are you passionate about hanging out with those specific others?
No, it's not about hanging out. It can be through email, phone call.
Yes.
Somebody reading an old article.
Yes. And you are not passionate about connecting with them.
No.
So, can you allow yourself to not feel so obliged to do what you don't want to do? Can you make it a quick and easy thing?
It's not because I don't want to do it. It's just a matter of where do I put my energy to do most good?
Yes.
And not just for everyone else, but for myself too.
The most good for everyone else and for yourself is always what brings you the greatest passion. It is okay if you do a couple of things that aren't filled with the same degree of passion as the others, if you really want on some degree to do it. And then what you do most of the time, that is very important. If you are choosing to direct your focus in ways that allow you to stay expanded and passionate most of the time, you will be serving in the greatest way. And again, it is simply the frequency. It is simply the way it feels. It is simply the joy unfolding in your own heart that frequency ripples out to all around you. And by allowing yourself to stay in that frequency most of the time, you can more easily choose where you want to go. And that frequency that has been building, that has been growing, will ripple into all of the other things that you choose to do. So we must ask you after this discussion, what are you truly the most excited about?
Human connection.
Yes. And do you see how human connection is the actual remedy to those ideas that you are acting as a healer for?
Yes.
And so understand in that way that when you follow your excitement for that deeper, truer degree of human connection, you are expanding in your ability to heal those issues on your planet.
Thank you.
Yes. So follow that desire, follow that excitement. And we do see that it is potential for you to be a facilitator for groups of human connection in innovative and new ways.
Thank you.
Are you excited about that?
Yes, very so.
Oh, all right. We are as well.
What advice do you have for increasing human connection and depth and authenticity and emotional connection on a daily basis?
First of all, to connect with yourself, to be able to completely own what is true for you. And what is true for you is not always the good thing that you are conditioned to believe must be true for you. So it is about learning how to see where you break from what others want you to think or want you to feel, and simply allow yourself to feel your emotions. Because when you feel the depths of your emotions, you can more easily uncover those seeming negative belief systems that are creating those emotional experiences. So having a journal or having some sort of practice that allows you to own and explore all of those inner worlds is the first step. And then being able to express that with others. The greatest experience of connection comes through vulnerability. When you allow yourself to express those truths, the painful and the lighthearted truths equally, with no judgment of better or worse, you allow for the love of others to enter you, to receive you, and to transform those negative beliefs. So by having an open space for people to speak what is true for them and for others to simply listen and reflect is very helpful. You can do this with small groups of people. Having a couple of close friends who you know and deeply trust are available to show up to this and show up to the different ideas about it. It's very helpful as well. The more you express your voice and the more that you honor your own inner truth, the more you will attract others who are having a similar experience, who are unraveling a similar pattern within themselves, and likewise are very excited to see a similar energy, to assist each other in transformation. Yes, yes.
I have a question.
Yes.
Why are wolves showing up in my dreams and in my waking visions?
Oh, all right. So we would ask, are these wolves
They're
seeming
white.
friendly?
Yes, white wolves.
Yes. Now, this will always have both a personal and a collective sort of meaning. The collective meaning for wolves is one of the pack, of loyalty, of love, and connection among tribe. So when the wolf is coming, it is symbolizing often that there is a greater desire to connect with the pack, though sometimes the wolf also becomes the lone wolf, in which the wolf must go on its vision quest. And the wolf shows the dance back and forth between the need for community and the need for that individual experience to understand oneself in a clearer way in order to return to that community. Though the wolf for you will also build upon the store of associations that you may have created throughout this life and other experiences within your multidimensional oversoul. So do you have any personal associations for the wolf you can think of?
No, it just came in my dreams and in my waking vision about 2 years ago.
All right.
It keeps appearing. I didn't have any beforehand, but my brother did. My mother
All right.
too, but I didn't connect that or feel it.
Yes,
I
yes.
was raised with that feeling of just spontaneous and very repetitive.
Yes.
After it occurred.
Do you find yourself deepening in your connection to communities? Or desiring more of that?
No, I see them like by my side or following me or encircling me and standing with their back towards me outward or
Yes.
very tall, not friendly, just very present and powerful and still and wise.
Yes. And indeed, your connection to them is one that will help you expand into more of yourself, as they are acting for you as a totem animal. And this totem animal is something that you can come to let inside. You can allow it to enter your body in the dream state, or you can, in the other direction, allow yourself to become the wolf. And the qualities of this strong loyalty and love will awaken through that wolf spirit, as well as many other associations that only you can discover for yourself through embodying the wolf.
Thank you.
Yes, yes. And now the wolf comes to you spontaneously. Though notice that you can also call it in. And some of the most beautiful moments to call it in are in those moments when you are among the pack. So even now, invite your wolf spirit to come to meet you as we continue throughout our explorations on this evening.
I also wonder, I've been shaking a lot since seeing the wolf.
Yes.
There's a lot of movement in my body.
Yes.
A lot of movement, a lot of shaking or unwinding or energy movement, and I was wondering what's happening or why is that and when will it end?
Well, that is the release of certain degrees of cellular trauma. So understand that whenever you experience something that threatens you, and even an experience of emotional neglect is perceived as threat by the body and the subconscious, whenever you experience that, the most natural response is to shake. An animal, when experiencing a threatening circumstance, afterwards will go out into the wild and shake. So as you are coming to embody the wolf nature, your own animal nature, you are shaking to release the trauma that was suppressed as your animal nature itself was denied. So allow the shaking. Do not interpret it as a negative thing, for it is simply the release process. It may become stronger or lighter with time. You can trust that the more that you go deeper into your body through exercise, through massage, through connection with other bodies, and a variety of other methods, that these sorts of traumas stored in your body will release themselves naturally. When you experience it, simply allow it, even expand it. See if you can shake a little bit more and bring some expression to it. This will deepen and accelerate the process.
Yes.
Yes. Sounds fun.
Entertaining for others, I'm sure.
Informative. For you are all animals. You are all humans. You are all souls at the same time.
I would like to hear about punishment and rewards and
All right.
and when we are violent in our communication without knowing, and how to be aware of it, how to raise the awareness.
All right. Well, any act of violence, any act of separating oneself from others is again based upon that fear that one will not be enough, that one's needs will not be met, that one is somehow not experiencing their own safety and wellness without taking that from others. And so this is a complex that develops over time. And the greatest remedy for that is indeed true connection. It is to be able to look in each other's eyes and feel in a deep way that you are the same thing in a different body. It is to go beyond the veil that separates you and experience pure consciousness, pure awareness that sees all as one.
What about punishment and prisons?
Well, that is not very helpful in any way for anyone, because it reinforces a belief that one is bad. And this sense, I am bad, I am not good enough, I did wrong, will actually reinforce that behavior. It will bring them to be more identified, more focused with that negativity that is projected and thrust upon them, and it will only expand and make problems worse. So indeed, the real remedy for any crimes or criminals is to love them, is to bring them to experience connection, is to get them to cuddle each other, to look in each other's eyes, to express their emotions and be seen and heard.
And further to that question, whenever there are people who commit crimes against children, against the helpless, what
Yes.
is the remedy for
It is the same, though perhaps you wouldn't want to get them very close to children, yes, that is clear. And really for these individuals, there has been a sense that something was lost in coming into adulthood. Their child self is deeply hurt, and they are missing that, they are longing for that. And so there must be a process of bringing them back to their own childlike self, clearing away the different layers of conditioning that they have come to believe about themselves in order to be adults, and let them return to their most innocent and basic nature. Make them play. Make them go to a playground. Allow them to have that raw and simple connection with themselves and with the world around them. Many different tools for releasing childhood trauma by going into those memories and reprogramming them is very key again for these individuals. And with that process, many of these fantasies will dissolve themselves as the coveted child within them they have disowned will return and be seen as a living aspect of themselves. They will not have to look for it outside.
I have a question.
All right.
I've been, in my kind of healing journey, I've been discovering new things about my childhood, emotions that I had, experiences that I had, that are helping me move forward and make sense of things and feel my best.
Yes.
And I am also working on deepening my connection with my parents.
All right.
And part of that, I have in that I've wanted to share with them my journey, but it's hard for them to hear some of what my reality was when I was a child, because they thought they were giving me unconditional love and I didn't feel unconditional love.
Yes.
So I'm curious if you have any thoughts on the best way to connect with them, to have them see me, and deepen our connection without me kind of opening too much of the emotional trauma I think that they cause that they might not want to face.
It is okay to bring them to feel that emotional pain, yet in a way that does not make them feel guilty about it or threatened by it or fearful of it. So the most important thing to do is then to create that very safe space by truly affirming, I know you did your very best. I love you very much. I experience that you were well intended in all that you did. And then this was my experience. When this occurred, I felt this way. When this occurred, I felt that way. Instead of saying, you did this to hurt me, you did this and it suppressed me, simply speak about your own emotional experience and how that relates to what you are feeling in your adult life. This will make it much easier. Though understand that this is your own personal process and journey, so many of the things that you think you might need to say, you don't. It is important more for you to own those experiences and find a way to experience the opposite emotional state. If you felt abandoned, find ways that you feel more connected and more supported, and embody those experiences. Your parents don't need to understand all of it. If you can communicate the gist of it to them, often that is enough.
Yeah, that resonates. Thank you.
Yes, our thanks to you as well. We have space for one or two more questions. If you haven't spoken up, please do. Yes, yes.
I have a question.
All right.
I am returning to the U.S. tomorrow.
Oh, how exciting.
And I'm doing my best to remember myself new in every moment. And
Yes, yes.
at the same time, of course, my past experiences come in and my head starts going with the what if and things. Anyway, I am wondering, because I will be spending some time with my family and I love them so much,
Yes.
if you have any suggestions of tools that I might be able to work with in moments where I am triggered or feeling unaligned or not resonating with the energy that's happening within the household.
All right. One of the simplest tools is to bring yourself back to your own heart, holding your heart in the moment where you feel triggered, and remembering the great experiences of love and connection that you've had with others. Remember that ultimately all are your family, and your blood family are a very deep, resonant soul connection that challenges you. And when you can remember what it felt like to be among those other soul family and extend that vibration to your family around you, imagine it as a net that goes out from your heart and touches the hearts of others, and simply smile. Know that when you smile, you channel that energy from your soul, from spirit itself, through your soul, and radiate it outwards. Practice that. Imagine yourself glowing, imagining yourself radiating energy out. And when you feel triggered, thank the other for arising the trigger. Because every time you feel that discomfort, you release the conditioning about it. Now, we have another tool for clearing associations. Say, for example, a particular room makes you feel the same way that you have felt every time you've been in that room. So you find yourself in that room again, and now, instead of repeating those same ideas, those memories about the room, imagine something entirely neutral. One of the best things would be a pure color, like purple, like teal, like orange. Picture only that color, and then focus on the most positive emotions you can imagine. Happiness, joy, contentment. Focus on that for 11 seconds. That is enough to begin to clear away the association. And then whenever you are in that room or focusing on a certain idea or place or person, that same energy again, you will release all of those old associations that you have had.
Also, I have been experiencing on and off for the past like 30 minutes quite a bit of pain in my body.
I'm alright.
Is it possible for you to do like a physical read on me right now and
Oh,
tell
yes.
me whether or not I have parasites?
Alright. You're experiencing some stomach pain.
Mm-hmm.
One moment. This is simply a bit of a bacterial imbalance. So it is not as much as you consider a parasite. It's similar, though it is simply an overgrowth of certain bacteria that are native to this area that you will clear when you find yourself in a new environment. So you may want to consume a bit of activated charcoal in the morning for several days when you adjust to your new environment. And beyond this, you will be fine.
Okay, great. I have
Thank you.
2 questions. If
All
you
right.
do, Jessie.
Yeah, go ahead.
What is the gift of self-sabotage, which I'm finding myself in, and in particular to a block to sitting down and writing, even though I can feel it's a well that wants to be expressed, but I find myself self-sabotaging, and it's a horrible low vibration or confusing funk,
Yes.
and I'm wondering if they can offer guidance on the gift and purpose of self-sabotage.
Well, for one, it keeps you very safe from going into a new unknown experience. By calling it self-sabotage, you reinforce the pattern itself, when really you can reinterpret it to be simply stalling. It is stalling. And if you are stalling, it means that you believe you need more time. So if you look at, why do I believe I need more time? More time in order to learn something, connect with something, be more grounded, be more open. There are many ideas that for each individual fill in the gap. If you can come to understand why exactly you are stalling, you can then say to yourself, okay, I believe I need this certain thing or this certain energy. What is an easier way I can get this thing that I believe I need in order to do what I want to do? Or how do I already have the thing that is forcing me to stall? So when you can shift your consciousness from the lack of that thing to the experience of either having or getting that thing or that frequency, you will find yourself in a more place of fullness, yes. In a place of more fullness. So in that place, you can then allow that fullness to move through you. Do you believe that in some way there could be a distortion, a block, a filter? Because you have said there is indeed a well that could overflow, yes? What do you believe could get in the way of that well expanding, expressing?
There's just a block to sitting down and doing it.
Yes. Do you fear that something will come up in that moment?
No, it just feels overwhelming.
So
Where to start?
though starting anywhere will lead everywhere. Do you know that?
Mm-hmm.
And that it is not about getting to that place. It is about the process. you can do nothing wrong. Every bit of the energy within you that seeks expression needs expression.
Mm-hmm. And I have one more question. Thank you.
Yes.
Why does cacao make me purge in almost every medicine actually, but even cacao now?
One moment. It is a bit of an adjustment. We would say it is important to have a bit less of this particular plant for you at this time. Part of it is related to choices you are making within your diet. And there are certain things in cacao, because of that are a bit hard to break down. So it will take some time to adjust to it. If you find the right amount of cacao and have it every day, the amount that doesn't make you feel sick, and choose to have it every day or several times a week, your body will adjust and you will be able to handle more of it. And actually this will also increase the emotional purgation as well. For the physical purgation is related to some degree of emotional stored energy. And it is also related to this idea that you have just expressed about finding yourself creatively blocked. So cacao, in its heart-opening quality, can help you to get into that creative flow. When you find just the right amount that doesn't push you past the edge and doesn't bring you to feel nothing at all, the middle ground, and use that to express, to focus, you will find that with time both of these experiences come into a more full, complete expression.
Thank you.
Yes, yes. All right, is there one last question? You may make it special. You may make it simple. For us, that means no difference.
I have one. What would the Pleiadians that you're channeling, what's their message for the time that we have in this human experience?
The time? Or the illusion of that time?
Yes. And the choices we make with that time.
Yes. Well, again, this comes back to the idea that when you choose what is most exciting for you in each and every moment, the time will flow effortlessly. It will actually bring you into an experience of what is beyond time. And it will show you that everything is here and now. So the more time that you spend in the space, in the mental space, yes, of it is all here and now, of every other moment is happening within this moment at the same time. I am simply having the human experience that disconnects me, that distorts that reality. You will then be in a deeper state of connection with your oversoul, which has many different soul aspects that can be channeled through you. And this awareness will allow you to bring forth what you may call past life or extraterrestrial lives into your present life. So do not worry that you are losing time. You are only losing time when you are not excited. It is not true the importance you have placed on being productive with all of your time. It is more important the frequency you are in more of the time. So if you are feeling like you are losing time, that is actually the greatest indication that you are trapped in the illusion of time, because there is no time. It is all here and now. When you are feeling that you are losing time, instead ask yourself, what would be the most exciting thing I can do with this time, and do it. And this brings you into a flow state. Now, part of this following your heart thing is about coming into a higher brainwave frequency you call gamma. It is the channeling frequency. It is the state of super heightened focus that allows you to lose the awareness of all things that are beyond your current focus, your current stream. So if you are playing music, performing, or running, or doing some sort of peak creative activity, you go into this state. You lose awareness of everything that is not in that moment. And you actually then go into these higher dimensions, and different energies download into your system, sometimes unknowingly. Now, you cannot stay all the time in this state. It is still exciting to be in other brainwave states, though the ability to get to this state of hyper-focused flow will allow you to dissolve the illusion of time more. And that is why it is about finding what is truly your own personal passion. By embodying your own personal passion fully, every one of you can come to access that peak state of flow regularly. And as you do that, many things will change for you, and you will indeed come to know in a deep way that there is no time. It is not important what you do with your time, it is important how you feel when you are doing what you are doing with your time. And with that, our time is up.
Can I just express that I am really, really grateful
Oh,
for
yes.
this time, getting to know the channel and communicating with you more through the channel during the last month or so. And I send you a lot of love and a lot of gratitude, and every day been sending you love from my heart.
All right, we've been receiving
Thank
it.
you.
And you do feel, yes, that every time you send us that great love, we beam it right back to you.
I feel that.
Yes, yes. So
Thank you.
keep playing with that. That is a way that you can come to know that we are always with you, and that we are you at some higher level.
Thank you.
It has been our pleasure to connect with you in this telepathic way, and to come to know you as part of ourselves through the connection that you are creating. It is our great intention for channeling through channels, or being channeled through channels, that each and every one of you can develop your own relationship to us, can flow with our energy, and allow others to see the bigger picture of what's really going on out there and in here. For as you come to meet us, you come to see that in there and out there are, in a way, the very same thing.
May I ask one burning question that I forgot to ask?
Oh, all right. We'll be so generous.
Thank you so much. Regarding motherhood, is there a message around, adopting children that are already here in our lives, or experiencing our own individual birthing experience?
You have to ask what is most exciting for you. For many, it will be very exciting to be a biological parent. It'll be very exciting to see that process and witness it. For others, it will be very exciting to adopt others and meet new energies in that way. And for some, it will be exciting to do both. There is no priority. There is no better or worse. It is simply a matter of what is more exciting for each person. And with that, we must also say, we cannot speak on it today because we've spoken so much, but there are children coming from the hybridization of humans and an extraterrestrial group closely related to you. And some of you will not have to adopt children because your children will simply pop into your reality. And that will be very exciting for you, and for us too. So once again, we thank you. This co-creation has allowed us to expand in our understanding of ourselves and our source and you. We do love you very much, and we always are enjoying the ability to meet you and your ability to meet us. Everything is here and now. It is all one thing, and you contain all of that thing within your thing. So, trusting yourself and trusting what you are passionate about will bring you to know yourself as source in the clearest way. And coming back to the idea that we shared in the beginning, when you can distinguish the difference between what you comprehend, what you believe, what you experience, what you know, what you are therefore ready to unknow, you will expand into that with greater ease. So do not fight with your belief systems. This is part of the teaching. Acknowledge them and expand them. There is nothing that will solve itself in your reality through fighting it, negating it, or separating yourself from it. All of it must be faced with love and acceptance. And so, we love and accept all of you. Thank you once again, and we will see you in other ways.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ooh, yeah,